Hi there, in this episode we're going to be talking about dive hoses. I'm going to let you know all the things you need to know before you go out and choose one for your set of kit. And getting this right not only will you save some money, but you'll look cooler and you'll have the right kit for the right kind of diving that you do. Hi, I'm Andy the Northern Diver. Welcome to another video in this series of scuba diving tutorials where we're going to be talking about dive hoses. If this is the first time you're here, please hit the subscribe button. That'll make it easy for you to get access to all the videos we've made in the past. And don't forget to stick around to the end where I'll be giving you my top tip. So generally speaking, there's two types of hoses. There's the rubber hose and there's the braided hose. Braided hose is quite commonly known or referred to as MyFlex. That's just a brand name, much like everyone calls a vacuum cleaner a Hoover. The rubber hose is one everyone generally start off as a rubber one. Some people then think that this one's the best one, so I'll go and buy these because these are new. Now I'll give you pros and cons on both. So for me, the rubber one, it's nice and smooth, and one of the configurations I dive is called the Hogarthian loop, sometimes called the hog loop or long hose method. And that involves me having one of my regulator hoses around the back of my neck. If I'm diving somewhere warm and I've got a wetsuit on and perhaps no hood, so my neck's exposed, this rubber, it's nice and smooth, comfortable, doesn't cause me too much irritation. Now if I change that for the MyFlex hose, it's ever so slightly rough, but that gets worse. If it starts to fray a little bit, which it does every now and again, one of these will just split a little bit and it'll be just stuck up. As that's rubbing across the back of your neck, which they do, it can be quite irritating. So for me, if I was diving a long hose and I had it wrapped around my neck, I wouldn't be diving with a MyFlex hose. Quite often we'll have our hoses stowed around the side of the cylinder, and when you need to deploy that hose, it can be quite difficult if you don't have the right one. So a rubber one tends to just catch on the tank bands. The MyFlex, it seems to be a lot easier to deploy. So for me, the MyFlex one, whilst diving side mount, is actually a better option than diving the rubber one. Albeit I've still got to wear it around my neck, but what's more important, a bit of uncomfortableness or being able to deploy a hose quite quickly when you need to. For me, safety always wins. So other things to bear in mind then with your hoses is that the actual ends that go into your first stage regulator suit that first stage regulator, because if you were buying a high pressure hose for your console or your gauge or whatever, then the actual end of that is going to be a different size than if you're buying a hose that has a regulator on the end. And then where your regulator hose goes into your first stage, some of them are different sizes, so it might be worth, when you go to the dive shop to buy a hose, either take your first stage regulator with you or understand the different sizes of these. Both of these are for a second stage regulator, so make sure you buy a low pressure inflator hose if that's what you want. Okay, so the main size of the attachment that goes into your first stage that we deal with, only the older models of the Apex that I've ever found is 1/2 inch that are the low pressure hose for your second stage regulator thread. The rest of them are all 3/8, with the exception of the high pressure hose, which is 7/16. So when you're looking through an online catalogue or when you're going into a particular shop, take your first stage with you or know which particular size of hose you need and what job you want it to do. So my top tip, get your tape measure from the back of your neck round to wherever that hose is going to go. Is it going to come over your shoulder for your low pressure inflator hose? Is it going to come around your neck and into your mouth? Because what you don't want is a hose that's either too long, so you've got a great big loop that's coming out here and it can get snagged on something and possibly rip it out, or something that's too short, so your regulator's hanging out your mouth, like you can't keep hold of it. That goes for all your hoses. The only real guaranteed standard sort of size is 2.1 meters if you dive in the hog loop. If you don't know what the hog loop is, I'll probably do a video on it one day, but you can Google it. They're no good. Let me know what kind of hoses you prefer. If what I've said is right or wrong for you, let me know. So if you've got any questions or comments, leave them at the bottom and I'll be sure to reply. So make sure you watch the rest of the videos in this series to keep abreast of all things scuba and help you brush up on some of your skills or technique. I'll post a link up here so you can see where the rest of the videos are. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. See you on Insta.